Come on in, everybody. Welcome to My Sweet Home Living. My name is Tracy Campbell. So excited you could be here with me today or on the replay later. No problem either way. Just please let me know that you're here by leaving a little note below. And before you leave me today, if you are new to my page, please make sure that you take a chance to follow the page or hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. If you're watching the replay on YouTube later, I would love to know that you're here. Be leaving a little comment below. I'm so excited about today's project. I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately. But I am. And if you've been following for the last couple of weeks, we've been in all fall mode. All fall mode. But we've been having a little theme of some projects that we've really been working on that really all kind of tie together so beautifully. And so if you have been intrigued or interested or inspired by any of these projects that we've been doing lately, let us know. Let us know which ones have been your favorite. I think we have a new favorite. I think we're probably a week before last. The crowd favorite was, and I don't even know if I have it over here. Nope, it's over on my other table. It's our little primitive DIY feed sack. That was been the most popular video until last Thursday. I think it was last Thursday. Yes, we did the faux pumpkin pie. Hello, Karen from Tennessee, Cheryl from Ohio, Oregon, Tabitha, welcome in, you guys. Hop on in here. As everyone's kind of logging in today, I want to show you real quick our faux pumpkin pie that we created on Thursday. If you missed it, you've got to go back on the page and or on the YouTube channel, either one, and replay this because it turned out amazing. I have yet to seal mine, but I think I'm going to go around a little bit of the edge of mine where the orange is a little bit brighter for me. I'm going to go around and kind of do a little extra coat on there. But can you believe this is a faux pie, you guys? Look, I can do this. It doesn't make a mess. Or pie in the face. Yeah, it wouldn't work. This is a faux pie. We used... Let me show. I already scooted it over. We used plaster of Paris and air dry clay, you guys. And look, our coffee grunge and our our distress inks and everything, you guys. It was amazing, and it smells amazing because we used our coffee grunge mix on it, which is coffee, vanilla, and cinnamon. Smells amazing. I'm going to be using this in a little display on a buffet or a hutch, just to kind of give a warm, cozy feel to your fall decorating in your kitchen or dining room, you guys. Perfect for that. So I had several of you ask me, look, where are you going to put that? Well, if you see kind of like these little areas back here that I have, like on a hutch or on a buffet, those are perfect areas to kind of stage and make them look cozy and welcoming for fall. We already have 100 viewers on, you guys. Hot dog. Y'all come on in. I can't wait to show you. We've got a jam-packed episode today. Like probably 3 projects in one. So it will be worth your time to stick around with us today all the way to the end. We're going to tie it together in a beautiful vignette because you all know that's what I do best. I love doing that. So I'm going to show you how to tie it all in with some vintage funds and make a beautiful little decorating piece for your home for the fall. So the star of today's show that we're really going to be using before we kind of get into the thick of it, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, we're going to be using, there you go, air dry foam clay. That's what we're going to be using today. And you can see my container is empty for good reason, because I've already been preparing for you guys. Hello, Miss Barb. What are the measurements of the coffee, vanilla, and cinnamon? Donna, you can go to my page here on Facebook, My Sweet Home Living, and it is pinned at the top of my page. I mean, you kind of have to scroll down just a tiny bit, but it's at the top of the regular posts area. You will see it. It's a little graphic. It has the recipe on there. It's super easy, and you can mix it together. I mix it together in just a reusable glass jar. Store it in my refrigerator when I'm not using it. Pull it out, warm it up. When I'm ready, give it a good shake because the cinnamon will settle. Yeah, it's kind of settled, you can see. But if you shake it up good, it gets it all redistributed, and I use it on tons of stuff. And we're using it today as well on today's project, you guys. So we've made the faux apple pie. We've made the faux bread loaves. Let me show you those real quick. In case you've missed those, you can go back and watch all of these on the page or on the channel. faux bread loaves. We've made the faux apple pie, which I still need to pull that out. I've kind of got it tucked in that little corner back there and stuff's in front of it, so I don't want to take the time to pull that out. But you can go back and find the replay of that. We have made, of course, the faux pumpkin pie. Well, today, any guesses to what we're going to make? I'm just going to let you guys guess. I'm so excited. Did the plaster pull away? Nope, it sure didn't, Miss Debbie. It sure didn't. It is perfect. Now, I did kind of have to go back and touch up my edges where my orange, I didn't quite get enough coffee grunge coverage around the edges, so you can see a little bit of the brighter orange. So I'm going to take my coffee grunge and just do another little second layer around that edge, that perimeter of that pie filling, faux pie filling, and cover that up, but it did not separate. And you guys, it has cured all weekend long. And I've kind of held off to seal it because I want to make sure it's good and dry and cured before I give it a good seal. And that'll kind of give it like a little sheen and make it look like the finished touch. Okay, well, let's see. Does anybody guess what we are making today? It's, the title of the video is Faux Resh out of the oven. Think about it for a second. Think about it for a second. I'm going to show you two things. If you guys missed the DIY, the vintage feed sack, the DIY vintage feed sack from 2 weeks ago, you will probably want to go back and check that video out because a portion of today's project, we are going to be we're going to be doing another one of those. I'm getting so excited, like the words are coming out like so fast they're getting jumbled. Hey, Miss Tony, how are you? We've got new friends and newbies on today. Please let me know if you are a new friend or if you're a loyal follower. I want to know where you're tuning in from today. I want to say hello to you. Faux pizza. Yes, I will seal the pie. I will seal the pie probably with just a bit of the Mod Podge matte clear acrylic sealer, or you can use any kind of sealer. Honestly, you could use the regular Mod Podge if you wanted to do that. I probably will do it with a spray sealer just because I don't want it, I want it to look as natural as possible, so I don't want to see any brush strokes or anything like that, so I'm going to use that spray Mod Podge sealer. Sugar cookies, ooh, good idea. Hello, Mary. Hello, Carol from Alabama. Okay, well, the hint was that we are using air dry foam clay, and I said it was faux resh out of the oven. So, I see the vintage pebble from Stephanie from Texas. Welcome. Thank you for hopping on today. All right. Well, let me show you. Okay. Let's spin this around real quick. I'll be giving you a hint if you didn't catch that. Cupcakes. Ooh, good idea. Good idea. You might be close. New from Florida. Welcome, Juanita. Welcome on in. Okay. So I have pulled out a old Quaker Oats. Okay, you know how these cans are like cardboard? This is going to be perfect for a little addition. We're going to have 3 elements to today's project, okay? So we really got to get scooting today. We've got a jam-packed show. New from South Carolina. Welcome, Janice. Muffins. We have done some faux muffins. I haven't finished them yet, but we started some faux muffins. Yes, we have done those. Apple pie. We've done the faux apple pie. If you missed that, you'll want to go back and catch that. By the way, while you're guessing and thinking, this is a live segment in the Craft from the Clock group over on Facebook if you're watching this on YouTube. Here on Facebook, Craft from the Clock, we have live crafting Monday through Friday, early morning to late at night, every single week. Monday through Friday. And from 6 in the morning till 10 at night, you guys. So, following my episode today, you'll have another crafter and another one lined up all day, Monday through Friday. So you all check it out. If you're new to that group and want to know more, let me know. I can give you more information. I see somebody said they loved the pumpkin pie. Use some spackle to do the whipped cream. I thought about doing the whipped cream, but I decided to kind of keep it simple. I'm kind of more of a simple-ish, I don't know if simple is the right word, but I kind of like to keep things sort of rustic and vintagey. And the whipped cream to me was too white, and I didn't want something to like jump out and kind of take away from my pie, if that makes sense. You could totally do that. That's the great thing about these projects. You can totally take them and spin them into your own style. Chocolate chip cookies. Somebody has a good idea. Miss Pat from Unique. I see Miss Elaine. Cinnamon Rose Barb. Good idea. Oh, you're new from Henderson. Donna, you're not far from me at all. Not far at all. I actually was married in Henderson at Audubon Park, right in front of the big castle. Yes, yes, yes. So, small world. Okay. Let's see. Oh, no problem, Stephanie. No problem at all. You all are more than welcome to be here on your business page. If you are a creator here in the Facebook world, yes, I invite that. No problem at all. Okay, lots of good ideas, but I have not seen the right answer yet. Oatmeal cookies. I see cinnamon rolls. Oh, y'all are good. Y'all got good guesses, but I haven't seen the right one yet. You'll see it here in a second. Okay, so I have given this a coat of brown Rust-Oleum spray paint. Now, it's the spray paint. It's just not a solid brown. It's the one that has texture to it. And I did not bring the can inside with me, but I've just given this Quaker Oats can a good coat of that spray paint. And then what I have done is I have taken one of my little distress inks. You all know how I love using these to grunge things up. We're using the black soot today. Took a little bit on my little dabber here, and I've just gone around the edges and really grunged it up. Okay, now I have already kind of pre-done some of this, and you can see my light is really shining because I have half of this can finished. This side is not finished, so you see a little bit of the shine right over here. That's where I already kind of have some Mod Podge on there. So this side is the unfinished side. I kind of wanted to show you what it looked like before we kind of get it finished. But I have taken that and kind of grunged it up and given it a good coating. What I want this to replicate is like a true tin can, like you see all the kitchen tins, like from seasonings and spices and things like that in like vintage and antique thrift stores. They're all grungy. They're black. They actually were made from tin, black or rusty, or some of them have a little bit of a silver still left to them, but most of them are tarnished and grungy by now. I even took the lid and spray painted it as well. I grunged up this half, so you can see, here we go, my camera's backwards. I've grunged up this half, okay, and you've seen where I've kind of gone through and added the black just to kind of make it look worn, okay. My ink has already kind of dried on this, but I'll go ahead and rub a little bit on there so you can see. All I'm doing is making this look like a vintage baking powder tin can. Okay, so I went ahead and did this because you guys probably already know how to Mod Podge things on. You know how to print things off. Well, this is a design that I found on Etsy. It is a little set of vintage labels, and I don't think I have the whole set here to show you guys. I don't. It's a set of 4 vintage kitchen labels, and this was one of the designs in there. Woohoo. All right, so Mrs. Butter's baking powder for much better biscuits. This is going to be part of our display today. So I've Mod Podged this on, sealed it, and so it's still a little bit shiny. It is still a little bit damp. So what do you think we're going to make? Is this a good hint here? This is going to be one of the props in our vignette today. Any hints? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? There is a big old hint right there. Big hint. What are we making today? Faux fresh out of the oven. We are making some faux biscuits, you guys. Faux biscuits. They're going to be so cute because I've already made some up. I've already made some up. So let me walk you through, and then I'll show you the last little step to what we're going to do today. Where is it? So the air dry foam clay. I have pulled this out. Now this I purchased on Amazon. This is, I do think they have this at Hobby Lobby. I purchased this on Amazon. It does not say how much. It just says 500 grams, you guys. If you want to take a screenshot of that, you can. I think there's different sizes that you can purchase on Amazon. Yes, we're making faux biscuits, you guys. I'm so excited. So this is so fun. So it is kind of, it falls along right with all of our little faux fall baking little goodies that we've been making this the last week and a half. So I have already taken the majority of this air dry foam out. Now, fair warning, if you stick this to things, it's not going to want to let go real easy. Now, I can't get away with it on this kind of like this vinyl slick surface right here. It doesn't want to stick too bad. Just fair warning, don't stick it to like parchment paper or your clothes or anything like that, because it is hard to kind of get back off, okay? So what you're going to do with this, now I have left a small portion because I want to walk you through this process, okay? You're not going to believe how easy this is. I was like so surprised. So what you're going to need 2 of these acrylic paint colors. The first one, There we go. Antique white. Snapshot it if you want to. It's a cheapie. And any kind of pale, like really pale yellow. This one I'm going to use is a pale daffodil. My lighting is showing it much brighter than it really is in person, okay? In person, it's much more faint. So the majority of the color that you're going to want to put on yours is the antique white, because we don't want our biscuits to be like bright white, you guys. They have to have that good fresh dough color to them. Thank you, Miss Pat. New Miss Debbie, welcome. So excited you're here. It does stick to parchment paper. Yes, it does. Learned that the hard way this morning. Okay, so you're going to take some antique white. Now, obviously, the larger quantity of air dry clay you have, the larger quantity of these paint colors you will use. I will tell you that you only need a tiny, tiny bit of the yellow. A pale yellow. Tiny, tiny bit, okay? The most of the color that you're going to add is this antique white. All right? Now, you can kind of see. Whoop, no, you can't. I have just kind of... It is so crazy how the lighting makes this appear so funny. So I've just done a few little swirls, and then I'm going to add just a dot or two, tiny dots of the yellow. There you go. All right. So now all I'm going to do is fold it in on itself, and we're going to mix that together. If you want to put on like plastic gloves, go for it. Okay. All right. Thank you, Miss Barb, for sprinkling. I appreciate you. All right, now this is foam clay. I suppose you probably could do this same process with the air dry clay, regular clay. I'm not sure. This foam kind of gives these biscuits like the biscuity texture. You know, that good squishy sort of texture. No problem, Miss Brenda. So happy you're here. You're just going to kind of distribute that paint through your foam clay, okay? Clay is such a funny word because I do not think of clay when I'm touching this. It does not in any way make me think of clay. It is foam. It really is. It makes me think of squishy foam. If you think you might have problems mixing this paint together, give this to the kids. Let them squish it around. They want to put some gloves on. This is acrylic paint, so it's not going to stain your hands. It could possibly ruin, you know, your clothing if you get it on your clothing, so be careful there. But you're just going to take and twist. You can take it, twist it, knead it, roll it, anything, okay? And that's all you're going to worry about. And mine's already kind of mixed in really well. I think we might be able to we'll get one big size biscuit out of this, okay? Actually, let's make it a little bit smaller. All right. Let me put it in the bag because we might use this for something else here in a second. We'll even add a little finishing touch to one of these biscuits here in just a little bit. You'll take a handful. I like to roll them in a ball. Now, we know homemade biscuits come in all shapes and sizes because they're not canned biscuits. They're homemade biscuits. So don't worry about if the sizing is not all uniform. Hey, Miss Penny from Remake It Pretty. How are you, sweet friend? You know, just kind of eyeball it. So what I was looking at this morning when I was making my test biscuits, I'm making mine about the size of a tennis ball, okay? About the size of a tennis ball. My lighting will adjust here in a second. There you go. All right, so make it into the size of a tennis ball, and then you're going to kind of flatten it down a little bit. You can put it down on a plastic vinyl surface, and it's not too sticky, okay? But if you put it down on paper, it doesn't want to let go very easy, okay? And then I roll it. I kind of flatten it, and I kind of want to soften the edges a little bit. All right. Now, I will tell you, as this dries, if you want light and fluffy biscuits, you want to start out making them really tall because they will kind of start to settle and shrink down a little bit as they dry. Okay, that's normal. So if you want really fluffy biscuits, you're going to have to start out with them extra, extra fluffy because they'll kind of flatten out just a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit. All right, so I want to kind of arch the top of my biscuit a little bit. All right, so right now it looks like a little mini slider bun, okay? Now I'm going to take a toothpick. Let me get my lighting to adjust. I don't understand what this lighting is doing today. Hold on. I'm trying to tap in my screen. Y'all got a good look at my ceiling there. All right, you're going to take this little toothpick and you're going to make little indentions. Whoop, broke that toothpick. I was using that one a lot this morning. You're going to go around and just kind of stick and make long lines. This lighting is the craziest thing today, you guys. There we go. I do not understand it. You're going to go around and make some indentions all the way around the edge, okay? Now, don't get too hung up on looks right now, because a lot of these lines, they're going to fade, they're going to soften, and they're not going to look exactly like they look as soon as you make them, okay? So go through and make lines all the way around the edge, because this is going to kind of give you that flaky look to your biscuits when they're good and finished and dry, okay? Go all the way around and make lots of little indentions, okay? There we go. Here's maybe, goodness. I swear, this camera is so wonky today, guys. All right, you get the gist. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same little toothpick and I'm going to make some little dimples and little dabs on the top. I'm just going to take my little toothpick and just dimple it, okay? If you want to, you can take a little brush and kind of make some little nooks and crannies. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. I've just kind of used my fingers and just kind of made some funky shapes and just kind of molded a little bit around the top, because you know biscuits, when they cook, they all have a different look to them. So really you don't want that perfect look is the only thing that you're really going for here, okay? Make some indentions, soften them a little bit. Okay, there you go. This is your little biscuit so far. And I'm so sorry, my lighting is so crazy. Let's see if I can, that's way too bright. I don't know. It still makes that biscuit so bright. Is that crazy? It's making that biscuit like it's glowing. Okay. The next thing we're going to do, excuse me, the coffee grunge mix. The coffee grunge mix, okay? It is a cup of water, half a cup of instant coffee, 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, 2 tablespoons of vanilla. Mix that up. That is your coffee grunge mix. Make a batch and just keep reusing it as long as you want. If you store it in your refrigerator when you're not using it, it'll be good to go whenever you're ready for it. So now, the top of my biscuit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this coffee grunge mix. Let me scoot this so you can see it a little bit. I'm going to take this coffee grunge mix and I'm just going to coat the top. Now, your first coating is going to be really light. That's okay. Make one coat on it and let it dry. It won't take very long, and you don't even have to wait until it's completely dry. Just kind of let it get some air to it, okay? My lighting is making me so mad. It's making the colors look so bizarre. All right, so you'll let that dry. And then just kind of, I've set these all out like on a cookie sheet. You could spread them out on a cookie sheet. And as long as they don't touch each other. Once you make multiples of these, you don't want them touching each other, because they'll stick to each other. When you pull them apart, it kind of messes up the texture of them, okay? So what I did this morning, I made a bunch of these. Spread them all out on a cookie sheet and just coated them all. Let them dry. If you get a little bit too much and it drips down the side, just get a little bit wet paper, a damp paper towel, and just dab it off. It'll wipe right off if you have any streaks or drips that kind of run down the side. And then I will go back over it with another little coat, and that will darken it even more, okay? Don't worry about exact even coverage. You want to get some of that coffee grunge down in the little cracks, the little layers that that you see on there. You want to go around the top, because you want that to be the crown of your biscuit. And it's okay if it goes down on the edges a little bit, okay? So you're going to let a couple of coats of that dry, all right? Let it do its thing. It really does kind of have to air dry. So this is not a process that you want to rush. You can't really put them in the oven and heat them, or put a heat tool on them and dry them faster. You really kind of have to let it do its thing, okay? So let's set this one over to the side, and let me pull some that I've already done this morning. These are still drying, okay? But they are I think they're fine enough to where they're not going to stick to each other too bad. Yeah, they've kind of got a coating on the outside of them. They're not going to stick. If these were the ones that I just did and I stuck them together, they would stick. Now, they're still a little tacky, but you can see that good color dries on top. It looks way darker on my screen than it really is. I will take a real photo of these later with better lighting so you can get a true picture of what they look like. Now, if the sides are a little too bright white for you, what you can do is take a little bit of this coffee grunge mix and dilute it a little bit with some water and go over the entire biscuit with one more coating of the diluted coffee grunge mix, okay? And that'll kind of soften that real bright, crispy white. So, let me kind of see if I can get the lighting to adjust for us for just a second. Come on, light. Work with us here. Nope. It's not. Oh. Now, what did it... Okay. I'm not going to move. Y'all see the paint and everything on my hands. I want you to see the little layers on the side of that biscuit. Do you see that? That is what you're looking for. And that's what those toothpick indentions will do for you once they dry. Really softens, but it still gives that flaky layer look. What you'll do next is take like an X-Acto knife. Heck, if you don't have an X-Acto knife, you could take a craft knife, you could take a real sharp pair of scissors, you could even take a steak knife and do this same step here. My comments. Hey, Miss Jane. Hey, Jerry. So you'll take a little X-Acto knife and you're just going to kind of cut in here and you're going to pull apart. Okay? Make an indentation and make a long line indentation and pull it apart. And as it continues to dry, that's even going to add to that real good biscuit layered texture look that you will want, okay, on these biscuits. So let me go around this biscuit and kind of do that. Pull these apart, and you'll want to do this probably after they have set like overnight when they're still a little bit squishy but not all the way dry. Okay, you probably want to let them dry about 8 hours before you do this step. And this will be one of the last steps that you have to do in the process. You still want it to be pliable when you do this, okay? Because obviously if it's too dry, your X-Acto knife's not going to want to pull apart and really kind of get into those little grooves and make those real pretty little flaky layered biscuits. All right. So now, it's going to look a little wonky at first, just like your toothpick markings that we just did, okay? But as it continues to dry, you will see it will give you that really pretty texture after it dries, okay? There, we're just going to kind of let it, come on, work with me, camera. It's not gonna, is it? All right, so you guys know what I'm doing. You can come back and look at the picture later to kind of get a good look at that. All right, so I haven't done all of my biscuits with that that part of the process yet, but what I have done, I think I have 8 of these already kind of made up. So let me show you. They're still a little tacky on the bottom, obviously, because I think, you know, the bottom's not getting good air, so I might flip these over and kind of let air get to the bottom of these a little better, okay? So, you're going to have a whole little set of these little biscuits, you guys. Now, do you see this one? We have a little slice of butter on this one. All you do for that, you guys, it's so easy. Take a little bit of this air dry clay, roll it, flatten it out, okay? Flatten it out just like you would roll out some cookie dough or something, you know? I'm looking for something flat. I maybe could use, yeah, let's use this side of this little box here. Flatten it out and then cut it down to like a square shape, because obviously we know butter is square. Now, you would want to make this like the size of a butter stick, okay? I'm not doing that, but you're going to get the idea. All right, cut it down to square and just round the corners ever so slightly. I'm rushing this, but you guys are going to get the idea. Okay, I've made a little square. It's really thin. Do you see how thin that is right there? There. It's really, really thin. And then all you're going to do is take just a tiny little dot of your yellow and your antique white and mix together just a dab of pale yellow acrylic paint. And that's what you'll use. This one is already stuck to my biscuit. That's what you'll use to paint your little slice of butter, okay? Mine is yellow, believe it or not. It's just my camera is so making my screen so bright today. I have no idea why. So yeah, you'll paint that and then let that air dry as well. Okay, now I have not painted this little slice of butter, but it still looks kind of cute. Okay, so let's set these aside for just a minute because we're going to pull these all together in just a minute. We have one more little prop that I want to make to go with this little display, and we have about 13 minutes left of perfect timing. So if you did not see our feed sack project from a couple of weeks ago, you must. Oh, Trace, you've missed it, girl. Oh, you haven't missed all of it, but you've missed a good chunk of it. But I know you'll go back and watch the replay in a second because it's so good. The other day when we made those feed sacks, you'll want to go back and refer to that video for real good in-depth instructions on how to do this. You remember I told you that this little vintage label was from a set of 4. It's from a designer on Etsy. I can share the info with you if you are interested. Make sure you put that down in the comments. I'll share that info with you. It comes with a set of 4 vintage labels, okay? One of them is the baking powder. One of them is for, like, I think it's for milk. Another one is for butter. And another one is for flour. Flour. So we're going to have flour. We're going to have the baking powder. This is all going to go with our little display here in just a minute with our biscuits. So I have printed this on muslin fabric material. Okay. You can do this. You can totally do this using freezer paper. Repeat after me. Freezer paper. That's the trick that you need is freezer paper. So what you do, I have cut out a sheet of muslin fabric material, the same size as a sheet of printed paper, okay, 8.5 by 11 printer paper. This is what size this muslin fabric material is. The next thing I do is I take a sheet of freezer paper. I know I'm acting so crazy, but I even had to go back and refer back to my video today because I had already forgotten. Is it parchment paper? Is it freezer paper? Freezer paper is your friend. There is a side of freezer paper that has a gloss to it, or a you'll notice it. One side feels like paper, the other side has a glossy feel to it. That's the side you want to lay your sheet of muslin material on. Okay? The wonderful thing about this freezer paper is that gloss that's on that freezer paper is just enough, some sort of adhesive. It's not adhesive. I don't know what it is. It's some kind of a wax, sort of. It's just enough that if you iron this page on, this fabric on this freezer paper, it's just enough to grab it and hold on to it. So I take a medium to low heat iron and go over this, and it activates that wax on the freezer paper. I do one side, and then I flip it over and I do the other side. And it will help if you lay like a dish towel over top of it to kind of protect the paper, and the heat will still go through it and it will still attach that paper to the material, okay? Once you have done that, it's going to kind of, I've already done this and I think I've already kind of pulled this apart a little bit, but once you do that, this material and paper stick to each other ever so slightly, okay? Ever so slightly. So then what you're going to do is trim it down to size. If your freezer paper is a little, like this one, let me show you. This one has a little bit of an overhang right here. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that this whole piece is trimmed down to the size of printer paper, 8.5 by 11, because it has to be the right size for me to send through my printer. Okay, my home printer. I promise you can do this. So trim it down. Then you're going to put it in your paper tray of your printer. You do have to know which side of your paper it's going to print on. So you kind of have to know how your printer works. For my printer, I would have to put my fabric side laying down in the paper tray because my printer pulls it through just like this and it rolls it up and spits it back out with the printed side upright, okay? So I have to know how, you have to know how your printer works in that way. So once it pulls out of your printer, this is what it looks like. I pulled it straight out of my printer, okay? Now granted, it has a little bit of glotches, a little bit, sometimes it depends on how clean your printer heads are, I didn't worry about that, because to me, I think this just makes it look even more real. But you can see some little ink blotches on mine, but yours may print just fine without that. And I could probably run this through again, it would be just fine. But it is a little bit thicker. My suggestion would be to make sure that you print, set your printer settings to photo paper. Even though this is not photo paper, what it does, it tells your printer to slow down the printing, and so that ink gets, it's a slower application of the ink as it comes through the printer, and it has time to kind of soak into that material, okay? That would be my recommendation if you do this, okay? Now, once it comes through, you can just peel it right off. See the backing, this is the freezer paper, this is the material, you can just pull it right apart. That's amazing. That's all you have to feed through your printer. And then you have a good piece of material. I would recommend, this is what I do when I've made these in the past. All I do is after this comes out of the printer, don't touch it. Let it air dry for a good probably 10 minutes, okay? Then take a little spray sealer. I like to use this one, the Mod Podge clear acrylic sealer, and just give it a real light spray. And that will kind of set that printer ink on there real good. And plus, if you use this in a prop, in your kitchen or whatever, if something splatters on it, that kind of helps protect it as well. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to do, I have another sheet of this because we need a back side. We're making a feed sack. We need a front and a back. I have fabric glue in my hot glue here, hot fabric glue. Okay, Sure Bonder fabric glue sticks. I'm going to go around. This is still a little damp. Let me hit it with a little bit of a heat. I want to make sure that doesn't get stuck. And I am going to put glue around the front edges of this. I do have to leave a little bit of an opening, and I'm going to leave the opening at the bottom this time so that the opening doesn't show whenever I put it all together. So hopefully it'll make sense to you here in just about 10 seconds. Can you do the same thing for tissue paper? Yes, you probably could. To print on tissue paper? Oh yeah, I'm sure you could. Yeah. But I know it wouldn't be strong enough to do something like a feed sack. Okay. So here, let me get this sheet or this layer of material ready. This fabric glue dries super quick. So you kind of have to be ready to kind of work in small sections. So on the front of this one, I'm going to start in a corner and I'm going to start running a bead of glue. Come on, glue gun, wake up. All right, it's been sitting for a little bit. Run a bead of glue and then stick it down. Okay, then continue all the way around until you get to the bottom. You do want to leave an opening because you're going to have to stuff it. Okay, and if you sew, you could totally just run a basic stitch line down this and do the same thing, but for me, this is easy peasy. All right, so we're gonna take that and make good contact. This fabric glue dries so quick. You have to get those two pieces of material stuck together pretty quick in order for them to get a good bond. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna keep on going. I'm not gonna put glue around the entire bag yet. I have to leave that opening at the bottom. So let's go over and do this side. Okay. Just not wanting to let that new glue stick feed in there. Come on. Okay. Let me get this going real quick, good here, and then we'll be on the home stretch. Okay. You do want to make sure that you put a good solid line of this glue on, because let's turn this around. Whenever it doesn't work, That seems to fix my problem. Maybe. Come on now. I've had hot glue problems on, I feel like, every episode lately. All right, there we go. You want a good solid line because you don't want it to come apart. If it comes apart, all you got to do is just kind of put some more glue in there and or heat it up and kind of smash it together. Okay, let me get that glue off my hands. Okay, I'm going to let that cool for just a second. I'm going to cut off the excess. Woo! We got 3 minutes, you guys. We're gonna sail right through this really quick. All right, you will have some excess, so I'm just going to cut around this while my glue is kind of cooling. And I don't know if I'm going to stuff this or not, but I want to make sure that you guys see what it looks like. And we're going to put this vignette together real quick. All right, so you're going to turn this right side out. Okay, come on, come on, come on. All right. And sometimes you'll find out during this process if your glue wasn't applied in a good solid line, you'll find that some of your seams will come apart in this little step right here. Now, I'm not going to have enough time to stuff this, but I want you to see what this is going to look like. And then I will, as soon as I'm off here, I always kind of fix it together and stage it and take a photo. And I will share it here on my page because I want you to see how you can use these projects in your home decor and give you ideas to make little vignettes in your home. Okay, now I'm going to fill this with stuffing. And then at the bottom, I'm going to put some little dried beans at the bottom to give it some weight. And that will also help me to prop it up easier when I display it. Okay, so I'll fill it up. Then I'll tuck those edges in and seal it at the bottom with some more hot glue. And that would be my bag once I stuff it. Okay, so let me show you real quick how we're going to whip this little arrangement together. All right, I have a vintage scale and I've got some goodies. I've got a little grain scoop. Okay, I've got some fall picks. So let me show you real quick. We're going to take a vintage scale. Let me slide this over so you guys can see it. All right. Let me tilt it down real quick. We're whipping this together and then you can come back and see the actual photo. Whipping this together. I have a bread bowl here and I have stuffed the bottom with an extra towel and some stuffing, and then the towel that I want to see is just like a cloth napkin. Okay, I'm putting that at the top. All right, I'm not doing this too much justice here. I'm whipping this together. I'm going to put my biscuits in this little bowl. Okay, stuffing my little bowl with my biscuits, even the ones that have the butter on them. I'll put those on top, and then because I can fill up the bottom of that bowl with some stuffing, it makes it look like my bowl is more full with biscuits. Get it? And then, where is it? I'm going to use my little faux bread loaf. And then I have to have light, you guys. I have to have a little light. So I'm going to use this little light fixture. I love this little lamp here. Tuck it right over here on the side. I'm going to use these little fall picks that I've picked up at Hobby Lobby and tuck them in. Where's the other one? Here's the other one. Woohoo. Stick that right in there in the front. And then I'm going to fill up my grain sack. And then we've got to use our little baking powder little tin that we made. I'm going to have to tuck that in somewhere too. I might have to lose the grains for this grain scoop for a minute. It's a little big. I want to make sure I have these little things right there with it because that is too cute. And then stuff my grain sack right there, my flour sack. And is that not going to be cute? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I even have some faux eggs. I can toss a few of those in up here. Anything that you use to make your biscuits. Yes, yes. So I'll make a finished photo and share it here on my page in just probably about 10 minutes. Right now, we have another crafter coming your way in Craft on the Clock. It's a new episode of Easy Peasy Crafting Ideas. It's a back to school episode with Tammy from Crafty Peak. So go over there and say hello to her, and I will see you again Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Central. I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.